Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the physical LR Broly, Cheelai Lemo and just how good they are in DBZ Dokkan battle after their Extreme Z Awakening. So a new life on Vampa, Broly, Cheelai Lemo are a very interesting unit. I think their greatest ability and their keyword, if they were doing an employee evaluation, would be flexibility. These guys are a very flexible utilitarian character. Well, utilitarian is probably not the right word because there's a different context, but they're really good. So their movie boss's lead of 150%, an extreme physical lead of 100%. They greatly raise attack for one turn, cause colossal damage to the enemy and greatly lower attack on their 12 key, massively raising their attack on their 18 key. Their passive is really where things get weird. So they have attack and defense of 30% per key sphere obtained, additional attack and defense at 10% per physical key sphere obtained, an additional 2 key per key sphere obtained. All allies get key plus 2 and attack at 39% with an AGL or strength key sphere obtained. All allies get 2 key defense at 39% with attack or int key sphere obtained. All allies get key plus 2 and attack and defense of 15% with a rainbow key sphere obtained. And then there's an additional attack of 39% when performing a super attack. They launch an additional super attack, and movie bosses or super bosses category allies get damage reduction at 10% when key is 24. They have a high chance of evading the enemy's attack. They evade the enemy's attack with 7 or more key spheres. They randomly change key spheres of a certain type to physical when HP is 6% or less. And they're guaranteed to change all key spheres when HP is below 39%. Brainiac, solid support, cold judgment, big bad bosses, shocking speed, fierce battle, legendary power. Bond of friendship, joint forces, movie bosses, power of wishes, and super bosses are their categories. Honestly, this unit is pretty good. Biggest weakness that they have is their link set. They don't link particularly well with anyone, but they are a good one. I mean, they link well with certain units, but those units are difficult to link with for them as a unit because of categories and everything. They are just limited by categories. Bond of friendship, joint forces, movie bosses, power of wishes, and super bosses being their only ones. Now, as an orb unit, specifically as an orb unit, as we all know, orbs are a big part of how well they do. Get a full field of orbs, and you're looking at 40 million. Get 2 orbs, and you're looking at 1.5 million. It is, unfortunately, the nature of the beast, and these guys are very much, more than anything else, a orb unit. They have no baseline passive. They only gain stats from orbs, which is cool in a way. They're a little bit of an RNG. I will say there are definitely a lot of ways to cater for them on super bosses. I think you have multiple orb changes and Merge Zamasu, Goku Black, Goku Rose. There's so many different orb changing units that using them is not getting them to their peak performance is not impossible. I would say for me, probably the best run with. So one nice thing that they have, like I said, is the flexibility. So attack stat wise, you can see them they're fluctuating, 9 million, 10 million. You're going to see them hit 34 million now because they get all the orbs. That's always fluctuating. Their defense as well, very orb dependent. So again, it fluctuates. If you have core judgment, you get 6 orbs, you have 370k. If you have no core judgment, you get 2 orbs. You have 120. It's just one of those things whereby you are juggling the unit and its orb changing abilities and its orb collection abilities almost as much as you're juggling anything else. One thing I will say is they have a couple really nice, neat abilities that I think are what you want to focus on. So firstly, the ability to choose if you want an attack or defense buff. So if you want to go for attack buffing, then you can go AGL. This makes them very useful. You also can go defense buffing with tech or int key spheres. But what's really cool is that if you have a rainbow key sphere and you pick up either a tech or an int or an AGL or a strength, you'll trigger both sets of those supports. So at any given time, if you get an AGL and a rainbow, you will then have 54% bonus attack and 15% defense and 4 extra key, which is really something. Not to mention on top of that, getting them to 24 key, which is not actually that hard, generates for everyone 10% extra damage reduction. This doesn't sound like a lot, but in reality, and a lot of players who play a high level content that will say, that extra 10% helps to reduce a lot of the chip damage that you might take, and helps you with essentially removing sources of damage, which is very crucial. So yeah, obviously getting a full field of orbs and getting 7 orbs is ideal. Getting 7 orbs isn't too hard, but also isn't fully consistent. A lot of the times I was finding myself getting 5 or 6, which is more than fine, but it is what it is. Now, obviously for them as a unit, getting 7 orbs is crucial, because what it does is it enables them to evade every single attack, which, last time I checked, is pretty good. If you can evade every attack, then you cannot die, and evading every attack and not dying sounds like the objective of Dokkan, at least to me. So I would say, yeah, they're very, very good. Their biggest issue they have, which they've always had, is their limitation in terms of categories, and their limitation in terms of link skills. They're just the kind of unit that ultimately at the end of the day can find themselves in a little bit of trouble because of the fact that they need Brainiacs, they need Cold Judgment, they need big bad bosses. There's a lot of strong links that if you get all of them, they look great. For me, I would say focus on just big bad bosses. Try not to focus on 18 other different things. I just think you're not going to have a good time that way. And I think ultimately you're going to regret that, basically. Rather focus on just having big bad bosses and shocking speed, or Cold Judgment and shocking speed, or Brainiacs and shocking speed. Because trying to cater to these guys, when in reality these guys don't want to be catered to. Like I said, they're very orb dependent. Your big bad bosses isn't going to save you so much if you only get 4 orbs with them. So try to build and keep that in mind. But yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, I genuinely think a very, very, very good unit, a great easy aim. These guys were kind of dead on arrival when they first came out. So to see them revive to be such a great effective unit that players can use for all levels of content, I think is really, really impressive. And I think is well done on the Zenkai design. I think it's really, really solid, and it makes running Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo a lot more fun because of that. So yeah.